because it's one of those products that we'd like, rep easily, just like Bush's baked beans, of course.
Oh yeah.
Welcome once again to Chill Filter, the podcast where we drink whiskey so that you don't have to, but you probably should, and you probably are, and that's why we like you. This episode, I'm feeling peppy, but before we talk about peppy, let's talk about some business. We have a Patreon. It's called patreon.com/chillfilter, and by called I mean linked. And then that's a way you can get on our drink alongs, which we had one yesterday. Where we courier our listeners, especially our Patreon $10 tier or more listeners, some whiskey. We drink along with them on YouTube Live. It's a hoot. It's a holler. They're good, amazing options. We've done things like Jack Daniel's 10. We've done 23-year-old scotches that are, amazing and stuff like that. If you want to get on that, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/chillfiltered. If you're on, if you've been listening, maybe 4 episodes or more, and you're hooked, maybe that's a reason to support us in that way, because it really helps us. And to be honest, we're still not. We have more Patreon than we ever have, I think, but we're still not breaking even yet. So we'd love to make that happen, and maybe one day we will. So that's the business. Brian, how you doing, man?
Yeah. So you said you're peppy. I am coming back from having COVID.
You got the Rona.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think I was just starting to have it on Saturday. So we did that distillery tour. We went to Adventurous Stills, and and I thought it was allergies because I was just having like a weird like kind of throat tickle thing, and usually when it's dry this time of year I get that.
And in Phoenix, this is allergy season.
Yeah, right. But anyway, no, it turned into a whole deal. And then once I was into it a couple of days, I was like, I should just COVID test just to make sure, just to see. And man, I tell you that test line that comes up if you're positive, strong. Man, that just like blew in. It was like, wow. you could see the test strip starting to like, it was getting wet or whatever. Yeah. And then as soon as that wetness like passed the test line, it was
funny.
Red.
Oh wow.
So I must have been in the middle of it. I must have just been full of COVID right then. But it was super light for me. It was super easy. It's I mean we keep up with our vaccinations and everything.
That's cool.
To bring the controversial issue of vaccinations into the show. But
wow. Way to talk politics.
I know. Anyway, it was like a light cold basically. So I'm coming back from that. Still a little stuffy. I don't know if you can tell in my voice, but
not too bad.
I have been able to smell and taste very well. Maybe not 100% though, especially with the nose. So anyway, well, the perfect day for us to drink a very hot, spicy rye.
Hot and spicy.
Yeah.
Now, okay, here's the question. It's so, if this were 2020 or 2021, you test positive, do you tell your friends that you hung out with?
I did. Yeah, I went ahead.
That's cool.
I went ahead and
Marco at this point is like, come on, that's why I have COVID right now.
Oh, that's funny. Actually, so I didn't text Marco.
So Marco's saying that right now.
But I probably should have. Yeah, I like my buddy Curtis rode in the car with me, so I let him know. Yeah. So anyway,
did he get the vid?
Yeah. No, he didn't. No, he's good.
Yeah, that's the thing is like so many people are immune and in immune seasons right now.
Right.
That it's like not as like big a deal.
Yeah. But anyway, like I even said yesterday, I was like, this has got to be the last day. But now I'm saying today, this has got to be the last day. Literally, the only thing wrong with me is I'm a little bit stuffy, but that's pretty much it.
When I had COVID first and last, at least that I think, I might have had it more times easily, but that was like 2 years ago when the Omicron variant was like exploding, got everyone. I had a sore throat in the morning, woke up with a sore throat, was gone by 9 a.m. and my throat was a little tickly. And then, no, I did lose my voice at one point. But that was it. It wasn't like I was coughing. Nothing was. It was just I lost my voice, and I had a sore throat in the morning, and that was it. For like, don't get me wrong, it was like 2 weeks where I had that, but that was it. I didn't have I wasn't blowing my nose or anything else. Like it was like that was all I dealt with.
I definitely had a runny nose like crazy. That's pretty much the only bad thing I had going on. I never had a coughing fit or anything. So yeah.
Did you feel like the brain fog? Like even just cold has a brain fog. That's sweet. I hate brain fog.
I guess there was one day that I was a little like lethargic, just a little, like so I actually, like, I've been able to work from home a little bit, but I actually took PTO for an afternoon because I was like, I'm just gonna go lay on the couch. So there was one day where I was not miserable but tired.
Well, but getting over.
I decided to double up though. While I was a little bit miserable, I decided to just double up and kick the caffeine habit.
Nice.
So I like
why is that?
About once a year, I just want to like prove to myself that like
you don't need that crap.
Can.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had
it's like me in cold showers. It's like I can. I think. Yeah, but go ahead. Yeah,
I can't remember the last time I took a cold shower.
Dude, they can be amazing. Oh yeah. But anyway,
I espresso machine. I ran out of the beans that I had, and lately I've been like, I was like, man, I should just kick the habit and not be super reliant on it and everything.
Of beans. No, go ahead.
Yeah. Hashtag beans, bean drop.
Hashtag Bush's baked beans.
So anyway, I kind of had a little headache and stuff, and I stepped down a little bit too, where like there was a day where I had like half of a drink that Sam was drinking for caffeine and everything, but and then I went about 48 hours without caffeine. Nice. So feeling good. When I wake up, I wouldn't have any like inkling like oh, I can't start my day until I have caffeine. That's kind of how it usually goes for me. But anyway, I'm good now. Rewarded myself with some Starbucks.
Ayo.
Yeah.
Wait, so you just literally take a few days off and that's it, just to say I can do it without a caffeine.
Totally.
So you don't like cut it out. You just like make it a few days.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have nothing against that, for the record.
Yeah, I know.
But I was curious.
Not even advocating for this. Like, it's just something that I do just to convince myself that I can.
You're a powerful man. You can do that.
I'm a big boy.
I mean, you probably know I don't drink caffeine, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. But that's for mental health reasons. But not everyone deals with the mental health that I deal with. So it's not like I'm like, I can share the gospel of no caffeine, but that's only beneficial to people who might have strong anxiety, So.
Yeah, I remember you saying you get kind of jittery too, right? Like it doesn't take much for you to get that way, or no?
No, not jittery. I mean, I feel it in my heart. It's not like, but I guess jittery would make sense, but not in a physical way. I feel it like my heart beating. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It almost sounds like anxiety kind of thing, like an anxious.
Oh, no, 100%. That's why I quit caffeine, was because I would have anxiety attacks if I had 2 cups of coffee.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I just get headaches.
Yeah. But no, that's cool. No. And anyone out there who's thinking about quit caffeine, try it out. Maybe you'll love it.
See how you do. Give it 48 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I weaned off when I kind of realized that caffeine wasn't good for me. I was like, but my worry was that I like mornings. I love mornings. And so I wake up normally at 5:15 every day lately. Sometimes I got as early as 4:30.
Dang.
But I was like, what if I can't do that? Because that's like treasure time of my day, is when kids aren't awake, wife isn't awake, I get time to me. So I worried that like, what if I don't get that? What if I can't pull it off? And that was fine. I pulled it off. Yeah. What time do you normally wake up?
I love the, did you say what time do I normally wake up?
Yeah.
I normally wake up, well, when I've been sick here lately, I've actually been sleeping until like 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. It's been crazy.
Prime business time for me.
If I don't set an alarm on a normal day when I'm kind of having a normal schedule, I'll wake up about 6:30 on my own.
I gotcha.
And it's like I kind of wake up naturally for the perfect time to be able to like slowly go make a latte in the morning, which I love. I mean, that like I love the methodical, like the process of using the
I
espresso
hear that.
machine and
100%.
dialing everything in.
Do you have like a actual, like, you got the little whiskey thing that like spreads the espresso out and stuff? Because I have an espresso machine, but
whiskey,
it sounds like you have
whiskey.
yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
What did
Pour
I
a little
say?
whiskey in it. No, I
No,
know what you meant.
whisking
I know
with
you meant
yeah, okay.
got the little
You
whiskey. I
like
pour
the
a
little
little whiskey
brush,
in
I
it.
guess.
Yeah. No, you're right though that it is a whisk of
Nice.
sorts, and
Yeah.
so that declumps the espresso as it comes out of the grinder. Sometimes it might come out a little clumpy, so you can use that
He's a
to
pro.
ensure uniformity of like a distribution
Ah.
of grind
So
around
you know about the crema.
I know about the crema, yeah. But yeah,
Nice. And the heart.
I do have a legit espresso machine. I have a
That's pretty
Profitec
cool.
Pro 500.
How much does that cost?
Well, it was about $2,400, I think.
24. I was like thinking like 500 would be too much, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
But hey, if you like it, if you get behind it, if it makes your day amazing, I can't say anything against
yeah.
that.
I've been I really wanted like a prosumer level machine.
Nice.
I wanted something that I could tinker with. I wanted something that
Totally.
I can mechanically alter any
Yeah.
step of the
Modify.
process to
Yeah.
be exactly what I want it to be. The opposite of what I wanted was a push button and espresso comes out machine.
Huh. That's what I have
So
for $100.
anyway, I wanted the process, and
Yeah.
like I've been big into coffee like my entire life, and like
Mhm.
I worked in a coffee shop for about 3
Nice.
years.
Me too, but only 6 months.
So like I always knew I wanted one, and literally for like a decade I've been trying to convince
Nice.
myself to buy one, and each year I would find a new one that I wanted, and I would build up like, oh, I think I'm going to do it, I think I'm going to pull the
That's
trigger, and then
cool.
I would chicken out like, that's too expensive, and then the
Yeah.
next year I'd find another one and it'd build up in it, and then I'd chicken
Mhm.
out. So it took like a decade of on an annual basis
Wow.
going through this process of thinking I wanted an espresso machine and then
Mhm.
chickening out, and then after like 10 years it was finally like, I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's great. You know
Yeah.
who also was a barista? I'm pretty darn sure Robbie was also a
Oh,
barista for a
cool.
time. Yeah, in
Nice.
Spokane.
Nice.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Robbie. Let me know.
Yeah, nice. But the Adventurous Stills tour, that
Yeah,
was
tell me
really
about it.
cool. Yeah, so there were a lot of people there. There were four or no, sorry, three.
That's basically a chill filtered meetup right there.
Well, so and I mean three Patreon
Ayo.
members. There were 8 of us there in total. So yeah, there were Patrick and Brian and David were there.
That's great. Was
Marco,
this your first time meeting Patrick?
yeah, it was my first time
That's
meeting
great.
Patrick. Yeah.
Nice.
Hopefully I didn't give him COVID either, but
Nice. Yeah,
but
he's
anyway,
listening like, oh, that's why.
yeah, it's like crap.
Yeah.
Anyway, we toured the Rick House, and it was I think like it seemed to be about half the size of
I've been there.
Del Bach. Yes, you've
Yeah,
been there, and
yeah.
you've of course been to Del Bach too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it was fun to see all the barrels they had, see all the labels on the barrels. Like, what are you guys
That's
working
cool.
on? What are all these? There were like Willet rye barrels as their like secondary
Nice.
finishing barrels that they
That's
had something
great.
in there that they were working on. And
I love
then
Willet
so
Rye.
they had these smaller size barrels too
Mhm.
that I was asking about, and it's their barrel pick program, maybe
Oh,
not barrel
cool.
pick, I forget the word for it is, but you can
Barrel
go through
Select or something. I don't
yeah,
know.
where you go through a
Um,
process with them, and you can determine, you can make your own mash bill, you can make your own
That's the
process,
cool
you
part you
can
told
I
me.
know, right?
Yeah.
And then put it in your barrel with your own like stamp on it if you want, and then at the
Dude.
end you'll bottle it and make your own logo for the bottles and everything. So
So we should do like if we ever did it, we should do like 69% corn.
nice.
Nice. And then what else would we do? Like I don't know. We'd have to make it special if we did.
So
Like
my
super
favorite
special.
of their
Mhm.
product was their rye. I
Nice.
liked their
So
rye the
69%
most.
rye.
Yeah, there you go. There you
Spicy.
go. So I always love finished ryes too. So I'm like hung up
Mhm.
on the idea of like a finished rye, but
Yeah.
they don't. It seemed like their process of acquiring finishing barrels was a little tricky for them.
Oh, yeah.
I asked if they'd ever gotten anything like a sherry or any
Yeah,
kind of
which is what you'd expect. Yeah.
wine type barrel, and in all their years, they've never acquired
That's
any like
crazy.
wine finishing barrels.
What if you finished a rye in a Willet rye barrel?
Double rye, nice.
Double rye. I like that. They
Yeah,
could
yeah.
copyright that. Yeah.
Rob, buddy who was there, he mentioned
Mhm.
one of the things Adventurous Stills really played up that in that it was really
Mhm.
important to them to keep everything local, and they use
Yeah,
Arizona grains and things like
that's
that.
cool.
And so Maynard James Keenan, the lead singer from
Mhm.
Tool,
MGK baby or
yeah, so
MJK baby.
you're thinking MGP, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
He's got a winery up
Yeah.
in I
Mhm.
can't remember where,
I
Jerome or
forget what it's
something.
called.
I'm just blanking on the name.
It's
I'd know
like
it as soon as I heard it,
not
but
Enigma, but it's something like that.
yeah, it's a cool word like that. But that'd be like an Arizona winery where we could like in some like red wine barrel of his, we could maybe finish it in a red wine
Caduceus.
barrel. Yeah,
Caduceus.
caduceus, is that it?
Sounds right, if I'm pronouncing it right. Oh, Merkin is the vineyard. Yeah,
Okay,
but
there we
it's
go.
Caduceus Cellars.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I
that
can
was
get behind
fun.
Tool here and
Yeah,
there.
yeah, me too.
That's cool. Yeah, Nine Inch Nails. If you like Nine Inch Nails, the probability that you like Tool is like 70%.
Oh, I think way more than that. Yeah,
Probably. Probably
I'd
more
go with
than that.
90 at least. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I saw them live one time.
Who, Tool or no?
Tool.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah.
I did too, just
Yeah.
once.
And the guy behind me was like swaying, or the guy in front of me was like swaying the whole time. And I'm like, dude, and he was a big guy, and it was like, and
Yeah.
it were assigned seats. I was
Uh,
like, dude. But it was a
yeah,
great
yeah.
concert. Don't get me wrong. It was one of the best
Nice.
concerts I've ever seen. But
Yeah, yeah. I bet. I mean, they'll
yeah.
put on
Oh,
a very visual show, I'm sure.
totally. Well, that's the weird thing is it's not exactly super visual, but
Hmm.
he's like in a bikini or something. So
Well, that's pretty
that's
visual.
visual.
Yeah.
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 But I
So what
had
about
to.
you?
It was a bucket list item. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not like a diehard Tool fan, but it was a bucket list item. So I'm like
Right.
glad I got to pull it off. It was in
Yeah.
DC area.
For sure, for sure. Actually, there was one more
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
Patrick was saying that I gotta ask you, what's the deal
Mhm.
with the camp chef and the smoking meats? There's some meme, there's some chill filtered meme about smoking
Smoking
meats.
these meats.
Yeah,
Wait, you
what's
don't
up
know
with
about
that?
Camp Chef?
Okay, I don't know about Camp Chef, but the smoking these meats thing, is that about Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah,
Okay, all
that's
right,
from
all right.
Mark Zuckerberg.
So I know
He's
that.
like meats like a brisket. They made a whole song out of it on YouTube. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but no, Camp Chef like so Robbie got a Camp Chef. It's basically a competitor to Traeger.
Okay.
But Robbie was like, "Hey, if you're gonna get a smoker, when I got a smoker, he was like, "Hey, you should check out Camp Chef." And I hadn't considered Camp Chef because Camp Chef wasn't on Amazon, and I like to read Amazon reviews of things. And it proved itself right. Like Camp Chef was the way to go. It was better. My father-in-law has a Traeger, and so I've used it. I've smoked on it before, but I have a Camp Chef, and it is better
Why?
than a Traeger in my opinion, and much cheaper.
So
I bought
why?
mine
How?
for like 325 or something like that, and the equivalent would be like 600 probably for a Traeger in that size.
Okay.
So
Were there just like
if you're
more
into smoking
features
these
or
meats, what's that?
were there like more features or what? How is it better? Why was it
Yes,
better?
more features, and it was the what put me over the edge was it was modifiable.
Ah,
You can take off the side and like turn it into like a propane heater or Robbie, like I got Robbie a pizza oven to modify
yeah.
his with.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
right,
that's
yeah.
why I liked Camp Chef the most. And it's got like more, what do you call it? It's got more options for it's got like better probes as far as I've seen. It's got a nice beer bottle opener and stuff like that.
Nice.
It just
Yeah.
had it all. And Yeah, like I said, like I wouldn't hesitate buying another Camp Chef if I had the choice between that and Traeger.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So that's the Camp Chef way.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think he mentioned you guys were like making a joke out of it too, like with Bush's Baked Beans, like trying to get sponsored by Camp Chef.
Yeah, we get sponsored by Camp Chef because it's one of those products that we'd like, rep easily, just like Bush's Baked Beans, of course.
Oh yeah. I
And,
liked in the YouTube thumbnail, you had the bean bucket hat on. That was
good. That was the reentry buzz. Yeah. Well, you had a hat on, so it's like this is the only hat I own.
Perfect. I like never wear hats. It was either throw a hat on and look like that, or do another thumbnail where I looked like I just got like out of a wind tunnel from the Glen Grant 18 or whatever it was. One of those episodes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I had like I just got out of bed. It's like
bed
I need
hair,
a selfie.
Yeah. So the funny thing about hats is like I don't really wear them, but the last time I wore a hat was for a bourbon like waiting in line event, and it was like I wore a beanie, and then I basically had like a sunburn on my head because of the agitation that it brought to my head. So
Oh,
that's why I
wow.
don't wear hats, is because like it always itchy and like whatever.
Yeah. Huh.
And so that's the story behind me and hats.
Nice.
Not gonna work. We're going long.
Ooh.
What do you say we get into the history?
Yeah.
And we talk about 13th Colony, a nice spicy hot rye, and then yeah, we'll drink.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back. And we're back. We got some history for you this week. Controversial? Maybe. Really quick, some notes to get to. Hope we had a good drink along yesterday by the time this episode comes out. I bet it was awesome. Thanks to all who participated. We drank Four Roses, a barrel pick from Four Roses. From Sam's Club, right? Or something like that? Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. So we're talking today 13th Colony Cask Strength Single Barrel Rye. A pick for sure. We don't always love doing picks for the standard episodes, but this one was Hazmat, an 11-year rye. Couldn't say no. Plus, it's a distillery that we haven't dealt with yet. So this is our first 13th Colony product on the podcast. Definitely excited to try this, as the distillery has gotten a lot of praise lately for some of their offerings. This will be my first experience because I've never had 13th Colony. So we have some history on the background of the distillery, but I also wanted to at least mention some public, what did I write? Some of the public, but not exactly definitive, controversial stuff going on with the distillery. I want to make this clear that I am trying not to take a stand or take a side concerning the controversy, mostly just stating the facts that I've seen. Little background, a lot of controversy, but hopefully not that much controversy. 13th Colony Distillery is based in Americus, Georgia, which I believe is southern Georgia. The distillery takes its name from Georgia's historical significance as one of the original 13 colonies that formed the United States. But then I looked it up and I was like, apparently Rhode Island was the 13th to ratify the Constitution, and the Declaration was signed, at least on the top leftmost portion of the Declaration of Independence, was signed by Georgia representatives. Fun fact about American history. Now you know. Anyway, it was one of the 13. Maybe they named it that because it was the furthest south. I don't know. Apparently, it started as a group of friends, mostly for like distilling stuff to give as gifts. But then they started up their own. It says on their website, "We pride ourselves on sourcing local and regional materials whenever possible. Everything from using corn from our own private farm and water from the oldest aquifer in the southeast. We strive to bring these amazing resources together to create truly unique and inspired spirits." Nice, but somewhat vague. Putting it out there. Over the years, the distillery has garnered acclaim for its range of spirits, including bourbon, whiskey, vodka, and rum. So the controversy is mainly this with 13th Colony. People Some people aren't very comfortable with the vagueness of their answers to some questions, especially regarding sourcing whiskey. One such person is the author of the article titled, "A lot of people had opinions about my 13 calorie sourcing article. Here's my response." And so he had a 13 calorie sourcing article, but the author, according to the website, was Mike and Mike from thebourbonculture.com. Highly recommend reading it. It was very interesting to me. And I don't always read full articles, but I read this full article. He brings up some points that 13th Colony is intentionally being vague on how much they're sourcing. 13th Colony does mention on their website this when asked about distilling their own spirits. It's, quote, "Yes, Graham Arthur is our master distiller and he does distill our spirits." Somewhat vague. We are proud to use local ingredients and our specialty finishes to cultivate flavor. We also source our specific mash bill from a contract distiller to supplement the volume needed to meet demand. 100% of our 100% of all our barrels are aged in our warehouse and go through our specialty finishing processes. We believe that this a huge differentiator to our flavor profile. That is a huge differentiator for whatever.
Aging in Georgia, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is they're very proud of that because the temperature swings in southern Georgia are pretty darn strong and the humidity is pretty strong there. So it could really affect things. The author, what the crap? Oh, I guess I wrote that wrong. The author of the article makes some reasonable, in my opinion, questions and points that 13th Colony is likely sourcing almost all their whiskey. Now, what's wrong with that, you may ask? Well, it's not about sourcing to this writer. And for the record, he's not the only one who brings this question up. It's about the fact that they come across as doing most of their own distilling. When even if you read through the text I just read from their website, it does mention they distill and it does mention they source. But it's possible they're only referring to non-whiskey products in terms of distilling. Anyway, strong stances are taken, but I'd recommend the article. It's actually a very interesting read. That's thebourbonculture.com. Shout out to Mike and Mike. There's also some controversy on the finishing process. I saw a few guys that were like, hey, finishing shouldn't, basically there was talk about how this whiskey shouldn't be so dark for what it is, even if it's hazmat. There was that, as well as I saw one guy saying that their double oaked process for their double oaked bourbon was using used barrels as well as maple staves. Which could be a problem if you're using used barrels. But my thought is they got around it legally by aging first in new charred oak and then finishing in used barrels, which is totally fine. Most finishes are in used barrels if you think about it. But these were used oak American barrels, which someone was like, hey, that's a problem. But I don't see it as that big a problem.
Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer on bourbon, though. There are laws that say you cannot age bourbon in used barrels, or rather, no,
from
don't
the
get me wrong. Let me say it again. You have to age bourbon in new charred oak. That's the law. But they probably did that, at least from my guess.
Right.
I'm not a bourbon lawyer. So anyway, here's what we're drinking today. A single barrel pick. 13th Colony. It's a cask strength single barrel rye. 11 years. Yeah, look at that nice stumpy bottle. That's like a flatter birthday bourbon right there. So yeah, it is a 95.5 rye, which is a very common MGP rye, if you ask me. Classic MGP mash bill, but it might not be. Maybe it's something else. Age 11 years, proof a whopper here at 141.3. That's hazmat, baby. According to the person Brian got it from, it might have been 13th Colony's first ever single barrel pick. Picked by BS and Bourbon. Total wine price. I don't know what the total wine price is because it never hit total wine, but I imagine it's about 200.
I think it was 150.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
What'd you get it for?
150.
Oh, sweet. Nice. Yeah. That's all I got on the history. If we have another episode on 13 Colony, which I believe you have another that you sent me, right?
Oh yeah, maybe? I think that's courtesy of Brian Duncan, actually.
Brian friggin'
this guy
Duncan. What a baller!
That was a good one. That was a good one.
I know, right? When I bring out the Glencairns, or not the Glencairns, when I bring out the Waterfords, they throw down. So shout out to Brian Duncan. What a baller! Let's drink. Let me see how dark that bottle is first.
Oh yeah. Here. Can I? I'll go like this.
Oh, that's dark. I mean, hazmat.
Kind of hard to show here with this.
Here, I'll show our
shape.
listeners in this. Oh wow! I don't know why, but this glass is, or this sample bottle is like spitting. You know what I mean by that? Like it's like shooting out a little bit here.
Because I filled it too full.
Maybe, I don't know. I've never seen that before.
I'm also using my new Adventurous Stills.
Heyo! Shout out to Adventurous Stills. Okay,
here's a
nose
pop for you.
Oh, please. Oh, nice and thumpy.
Yeah,
stumpy thumpy. Nose. I'll tell you one thing off the front. It doesn't smell 140. It doesn't smell hazmat. It smells on the nose. I mean, 125 at least, but I'm not feeling 140 plus.
Going a little light on my pour here because I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to do it justice right now.
Oh, for sure.
In my current state.
Yeah.
So big oak on the nose first to me. A lot of wood.
Yeah. It's got a lot going on. Like not a lot going on. Let me rephrase that. It's got a oomph of flavor. I'm
thinking like,
but it doesn't smell like a definitive rye to me.
Nah, I'm not getting rice spice on the nose. Yeah, I'm getting good like Coca-Cola sweetness.
I could see that. Oak is definitely there, but not overwhelming for sure.
And it's definitely not, well, I mean, and I've got a terrible nose right now, but you can really get your nose in there where it's not going to just light your nose on fire if you get too close.
Okay. So I have just taken a sip. It's hot, but not like this isn't like a 133 proof Jack Daniel's hot. This is like, it's like a 130 proof rye on the palate. Really nice candy sweet though. I'm digging it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like definitive hard candy rye sweet. I love it.
Yeah, good. It's all hard candy.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
I love it.
Like, I said it smelled really oaky and woody, but it's not at all. I'm getting way more sweetness on the palate than I'm getting wood. And there's no tannic, there's no old flavor to this, even though it's 11 years old and that's pretty old for a rye. But it's just there's absolutely zero youth to this. There's zero unpleasant youthy bitterness to this.
Not a bit.
And it's all just very, very sweet and a nice wood flavor too.
Yep. No, this is my kind of rye. This is what I look for in a rye, is like hard candy sweet. There's hints of caramel, but like hard caramel. Yeah, I'm loving the sweetness to it. It is
definitely with you on the caramel.
100% what I want in a rye. This reminds me of like some of the better handies, some of the better Thomas H. handies out there. This is, what does it remind me of? It reminds me of like a hotter and even more depthy 40 lot 40 cask strength.
Ooh.
Which is much better than Alberta Premium cask strength, in my opinion.
Okay.
So it's got Alberta Premium cask strength can be somewhat youthy, but way more spicy than hard candy. This is more hard candy than spicy. Really pleasant. I love it.
Yeah, totally agree. And the finish is like, it's long and it's sweet cola. And it is definitely like, if you breathe the wrong way after you take a sip, you will cough. So it stays with you for a long time. And the ABV has a lot to do with that, I think.
Totally.
It is not, when people say like BTAC worthy, and as we've discussed before, like my definition of that is the finish takes you on a ride, or the prominent palate note is this, but then when the finish happens, it evolves into that. There's not a lot of evolution here. There's just a lot of flavor for what it is that carries into the finish and sticks with you for a while and fades off slowly.
I will say this beats a lot of handies to me.
Oh yeah.
So I would say this is BTAC worthy, to be honest.
Nice. Yeah. It is truly, truly special. I've only ever had the 2019 handy before.
Nice.
And
that's it?
Yep. Yeah.
You surprised me for how much you have in your collection. I'm like, man, I've had like 6 handies probably.
Please,
but that's mostly because I worked at a bar and stuff like that. But,
wow, you got a lot of handies at the bar.
Always, baby. I gotta write that down
now. Anyway, you've been in this longer than I have too. You've been interested in whiskey for a long time, and Sam and I go out to places that have nice whiskeys sometimes, but like not a lot, and it hasn't accumulated a lot over the years. And so anyway, I've got more to come in my future for sure. But yeah.
So the bar I used to work at in downtown Richmond, one of my best friends of all time, he is coming into town this weekend on Saturday, and I get to take him out for like lunch, and we'll spend a few hours together. So I'm going to take him to my favorite bar. But the nice thing is the only remaining bartender that used to work while I worked there is working that Saturday.
Fantastic.
And so I got the connection. Nice. I got all the, and I also have been not saving up intentionally for this, but like I've made a lot of sales lately on my jewelry website. And so I'm like ready to throw down like $200 at this bar.
Nice.
And so with my good friend. And so I'm like excited to, enjoy that with him. So
is there anything in particular you're targeting already?
Yes. Eagle Rare 17.
Heyo, the 2023, right?
If they got anything recent, yeah, absolutely.
Good.
So,
yeah. Fingers crossed for 2023 because that's special because it's 19 years. Yeah.
But mine is 19 years too, Brian. Did you know that? Did I tell you that? You
gotta know yours
that.
Is
okay. Good.
Yeah. Yours is 1 month more than.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure yours is like 19.3 and the 2022 or 2023 was 19.2, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, it's just not much. I mean, the only difference is a month or two. So
yeah. I sipped with water. Yeah.
I just smelled with water.
Oh yeah. What you got?
A little more vapors, but still really pleasant. Really, it's even better nose than the neat, in my opinion. It brings out the hard candiness more on the water than the neat.
On the nose in particular?
Yes.
So my first sip with water here, and I put in a decent amount of water. I think I didn't have a lot in my glass, and I put in a couple drops, and I got less of the sweetness and less oak, and it almost tasted a little hotter to me.
Yeah, it tastes hotter to me.
Or it's that like it took away from the good flavors that
You're
I like,
right.
and all that
brought in more oak, took away the candy, and it's hotter.
All that was left was just like the heat, Whereas like the good flavors were masked a little better on the neat pour, I think.
Which is crazy to think about.
They masked a little better. Yeah.
Yeah. But like adding water like made it
hotter
and not better. Yeah.
Yeah. So weird. Makes me wonder what ice is going to do. Like it could go either way.
Mm-hmm. Huh. It's still good. It's just not better.
Yeah. Totally. It's the sipper you want it to be when it's neat.
Yeah. He's the hero we need, but not the hero we want.
Not what you deserve.
What's that line from The Dark Knight where he's like, he's not the hero we deserve, but he's the hero we need or something? I don't know.
There's something like that. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I just
Did you see Oppenheimer?
Yeah.
I just saw that this weekend and I liked it a lot. I thought it was great. Altogether good movie.
I thought it was exhausting.
Oh, really?
So we saw it in the theater, so we couldn't pause.
Oh, for sure.
Couldn't pause it all or anything.
Yeah.
And man, it's just scene after scene after scene, just dialogue. We're talking about 3 this.
Hours.
We're just slamming this in your face right now, and the scene's done. And then the next scene starts up, and there's dialogue right away, and they're talking about this, and it's just like nonstop, like information.
Yeah.
New.
You got to keep it all in mind. Yeah.
But I liked it. It was just exhausting. I think one of the things I said to Sam was, man, if we'd watched this at home where we could like pause and be like, what just happened? That might have gone over a little better.
Yeah, I feel that because that's what I did. I watched it at home.
Nice. Did you have to pause and be like, what just happened?
No, but I've thought about it for sure. Yeah.
All right. I put my patented crap ton of ice in here. And I'm going to smell and sip real quick before it all melts. Oh, there's a particular smell here.
Let me see if I can get it.
Oh man. Yeah, I think it went away now that it's too cold. But it was very woodsy. It was very sweet wood. Sweet wood. There's a candy here. There's a cherry candy here.
It's not better so far. Yeah. On the nose.
Yeah. I sipped and all I'm getting is wood. I feel like this happens every time. I feel like this is what I say 90% of the time. But now
water or ice doesn't always make it better. In fact, often it doesn't.
There is way less sweetness. There's no candy sweetness. It's all just wood, but there's still viscosity, and there's plenty of like thickness to it.
The old thickness,
but it's just not like good, and there's no sweetness.
I don't like this. Like if you handed me this and said, "Hey, this is what we're drinking today," rate it. No, I wouldn't give this a great rating.
Flat Coca-Cola.
Yeah. With some heat that has a bite to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, almost cough syrupy.
Yeah. I wouldn't say this is good with ice. Yeah. So now you know, don't add anything to your single barrel proof 11-year rye from 13th Colony.
Good stuff overall.
Really impressive on the neat though. I had a second sip of the ice pour. It wasn't terrible. First sip was pretty bad.
Any particular flavors popping out at you?
With the ice, no, it's a special rye. It's not menthol or cedary like some ryes can go. It's just oak.
Yeah.
Oak and but it's not great with the ice.
Oak and is pretty much sums it up. The when you were looking into the controversy and everything,
I
just want to point out that on the bottle, one of the things that I was seeing was controversial. was the fact that it says produced and bottled by 13th Colony Distilleries.
That's not right.
It does not say distilled by. It does not say whatever.
And apparently that's part of the controversy is they will always say produced and not distilled.
And so at the beginning of all this controversy, it sounded like 13th Colony, and please, this is not fact. None of this is fact. This is just what I heard, and my memory's not the best. But people were pointing out, hey, it says produced. Why doesn't it say distilled? And at the time, I believe 13th Colony was still very adamant about saying that it's their own product. They're making their own product. And trying to be
there's no way this is their own product.
Just the right amount of vague around the words that they were saying. And at some point somebody said, well, we left it as produced instead of distilled because there was some extra regulation hoops that they had to jump through in order to be able to literally say distilled. And they just didn't want to do that at the time. Or
because it wasn't distilled there.
That's what they were saying though. I don't know.
Sorry. I just took it off of the presenting the facts and brought it to the complete opinion. But if it's a 95 rye that's 11 years old, I would bet my mortgage on the fact that it's from MGP.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
it's delicious though.
No, it's good. I mean, 11-year cask strength rye.
MGP ryes have those hard candy notes that we
especially the 95.5. Yeah.
Like it absolutely fits the bill that you could say that this is an MGP rye with those hard candy notes that was aged in Georgia in a hot climate for a little
100%.
while. To pull out all that extra flavor in aging in a hot environment.
And apparently finished. They say all their barrels are finished.
Oh, really?
Yeah, according to their website. Like, let me read the exact thing. It says 100% of all our barrels are aged in our warehouse and go through our specialty finishing processes, as we believe that is a huge differentiator to our flavor profile.
Interesting.
So if they stand by that, then this was finished.
I mean, technically, tinfoil hat theory. This is crazy.
Yeah, bring it on.
They buy a barrel from MGP.
Yep.
That barrel gets delivered to their warehouse.
Yep.
And even just for one day, they can say that it aged in their warehouse.
Totally. That's true.
And then they toss it to some other barrel. I don't know, some used bourbon barrel from something. I don't know, to give it that finishing thing that they like. So, I mean, just the sky's the limit for the things they could have done.
100%. And so even on the bourbonculture.com, their argument was like, they might be aging some of their own distillate, but it's like 99.9% MGP.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be the smallest.
It might be a drop of their own juice, but I doubt even that, to be honest. So
yeah.
But I don't want to take a side, but I just took a side.
Yeah, I know. We got to rate this puppy though.
Oh, happy to rate this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 9.2 here. Original or the standard rating scale, 9.2. I think the candy notes and the high proof are bringing it home on the neat pour for me. I think this is an A+ on the second rating scale we got. I think it is hubba to what for sure. I would, like I said, like this is antique collection status for me. Like that beautiful candy rye, can't turn down. So A+, 9.2.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. Ooh. Although, thinking about other things that I've rated and like 9 point what, I know it's obviously hubba to what. It is definitely A+. I would absolutely put it in the A+ bucket. Is maybe not like A++, which is like the pinnacle like of whiskey. Like if I had to choose one whiskey to be A++, it might be like, I don't know, probably like George T. Stagg or something. But but anyway, it's A+. It's at the
seasoned wood.
Yeah,
That's
hey,
A plus plus for
that's
me.
your double plus. I like it. I like it.
Ayo.
That's like A plus for sure. It's everything I love in a rye, and it is just extra hot and extra
Nice.
flavorful and extra perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think like if I were to put a 9 point something to it, I'd probably go like 9.4. I can't
Nice.
remember recently what we've rated right around there, but like it's above many of the things that we've had in the
Nice.
last couple months.
That's
So
cool.
it's mid nines for me easily.
I like that. Well, now that we've rated, you can go buy yourself a bottle, but unlikely you can buy this exact bottle. But just keep in mind that we love what we've drank from 13th Colony so far. But now that we've talked about rating, it's time to move over to the next segment of the show that we like to call, and we do call, but we like to call it too, Whiskey World News.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We are going to talk about some Whiskey World News. And today we are not even reading an article.
Ooh.
I'm just going to go through a list of some new releases coming out. So I'm going to run through
Nice.
Breaking Bourbon's little release calendar for February. So what you can expect to see as a release
Ooh.
during the month of February. So first up on the calendar, we got the Bardstown Bourbon Company collaborative series, Amaro
Ooh.
Nonino. I'm
Like
assuming I'm
Nino
saying that
Marchetti.
correct. Who was that?
He's the guy who's on the Whiskey Wash, and he's one of their big contributors.
Oh, nice.
Nino Kilgore Marchetti. Come on, Brian.
Wait, don't tell me, is that where the Kilgore
Yeah,
middle name?
exactly. That's where Kilgore goes from. Yeah.
Nice. I forgot all about
We
that.
love that guy. Actually, I'd love to have him on the podcast. If you're listening, Nino, we'll take you.
Man, Kilgore is such a good middle name. Let me
So
let me
good.
let me put that on my chickpea name list here real quick.
Seriously,
Chickpea Kilgore
Kilgore.
wrap. Okay, all right. So that Bardstown, so that's the Amaro Nonino. That is a blend of straight bourbon and rye from Kentucky and Indiana. It is
Nice.
6 to 12 years, but that it's like 80% on the 12-year side, so it's mostly 12-year, and it is finished. It is finished in that Amaro Nonino cask. That apparently is like Amaro
Love good
Nonino
Amaro.
is a bittersweet, like a liqueur. And I wrote down it's got like notes of honey, orange, vanilla, licorice, kind of.
I love a good
So
Amaro. But
that,
I hate it. I hate a good Amaro too. Don't get me wrong. I don't
yeah,
love bitter, but there are some that I'm like, oh, holy crap, I love
it sounds
this.
like it's gonna be funky. I guess. I
Yeah,
mean
I'm
that
sure it will be
Amaro,
bitter and
that's gonna
yeah,
be unique.
flavorful.
Anyway, that's it looks like the MSRP on that is like 160.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a barrel bourbon batch 36. So
Nice.
that new batch of barrels is 116 proof. It's 77 corn, 18
Are
rye,
we getting that?
5. We are maybe getting that. I
Okay,
think
cool.
that's not what they said they were sending, but I know
Okay.
that they've got like they might send us some of that too. I'm not sure, but anyway.
Shout out to John Hughes for setting us up with a good contact at Barrel.
Oh, and actually, I don't know if John Hughes ever sent us that, but my that also came an idea that came from my buddy Josh from the Your Drinking Buddy YouTube
Nice.
channel. So shout out
Oh,
to Josh
shout out to
over
both you guys.
there. So anyway,
Oh,
yeah, that's
and
like,
don't get me wrong. Shout out to Brian friggin' Rat for sending the sample that we're drinking today.
oh yeah, God,
I
what a
like to
guy.
give shout outs when they're due.
What a guy. What a guy.
What a guy. No, go on.
7 to 12 years on the barrel release.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Nice.
somewhere in that vicinity.
Mhm.
I wasn't sure on the MSRP of that, but last year's was 85, or the last batch was 85.
Okay. Yeah.
Bernheim. We all liked the Bernheim barrel proof. Remember
Yeah.
that?
Mhm.
So that was 51% wheat, 37 corn, and 12% malted barley.
That was a drink along, right?
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
drink
yeah.
along. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
7 to 9 years old on that.
Yep.
And the
Mhm.
new batch TBD on the proof. I didn't see a proof on
Figured
that,
out.
but last year's was $65. So
So
hopefully
they haven't put out a release since 223, A223, right?
I think there was a B release last
I
year.
had no idea. No idea.
I think that no wait. No. I think you're right
Not that I
because I was
saw.
on their
Yeah.
website looking, and when I was looking for information on the new release, the only one listed was the A
Interesting. So it
one
must
release
be a
from last
once a
year.
year thing. I'm gonna buy me one.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
Anyway, hopefully it's still around 65. Another one, interested to hear if anyone is interested in this one, the Bullet single malt.
Interested. Not
Yep,
for
yep.
65 though.
Yeah, so it seems to be about $65. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that is a
At
90
a 90
90
proof.
proof
Yeah.
America single malt. Another one, I never heard of this before, but Green River straight rye. So Green
Nice.
River is out of Owensboro,
Yeah.
Kentucky. So they're coming out with a 95 proof. It's a 95.5, but they did distill it themselves.
$35.
Yeah, and that's
Okay.
$35. I'm gonna skip those real quick, save the best for last year, but we got some Old Elk Infinity Blend. So I have tried that Old Elk Infinity Blend.
Yeah,
courtesy
we
of my
did
buddy
a
Rob.
episode, I want to say, on one of their Infinity blends.
So if you remember, I don't know what you thought of it, but it hit me better than I thought. I'd had low expectations because I was like, okay, this is just going to be whatever. But it was
what I
actually pretty
love
good.
is that they like just take a portion of last year's Infinity and then just keep adding to it.
Yeah,
So it's
and
cool.
so this year they took 15% of that 2022.
That's it.
And, yep, 15%, and they mixed it with a 40% high malt bourbon.
Okay.
And then 45% straight wheat.
Interesting.
And so that's what the new one is. No idea on the price this year, but last year's was about $150.
Okay.
New release from Westland. So they've got this release called Solemn. SOLUM.
Like Quantum of Solemn.
Yeah, right. If you're a James Bond fan.
Yeah.
Close.
Quantus of Solemn.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Qantas. Oh man. So this Westland release that's 100 proof. It's a 4-year peated American single malt. So I bet it's pretty interesting.
You know what? I'm gonna make a guess right now. Friggin' Ben Klepsig is gonna find himself a bottle of that and he's gonna share it with us. And we're gonna be drinking this Quantus of Solemn soon.
Nailed it. Oh yeah, the first tasting note on the website for the Quantus of Solemn is rosemary bagel.
Yo, I could dig that, I guess. Rosemary is not a note I want to go for in whiskey, though.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I guess it comes from whatever peat. Anyway, the previous release of that was 150, so that's probably about $150 for you if you're interested in that.
Yeah.
But saving the best for last, this month in February, it sounds like we're going to be seeing
I heard March.
What'd you say?
Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, you heard March? Well, I mean, it varies from state to state.
Either way, in Virginia, it'll show up when it shows up.
Long enough build up on this. The Jack Daniels 10 and 12 year.
Yeah, baby.
This year's releases of the Jack 10 and Jack 12. So it is the third batch for Jack 10.
Yep.
It is the second batch for Jack 12. The Jack 10 sits at 97 proof.
Yeah.
The Jack 12 sits at 107 proof. And last year they were $70 and $80 respectively. But not sure about this year. Varies from region to region too. At a grocery store, I still paid, I think, like 90 for one and 110 for the other or something like that. So
still,
people will charge whatever they want for that. Yeah, no, I was actually it was AJ's.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Speaking of special releases from places, you know what I got today?
Ooh, what'd you get?
Right before we recorded.
Hey.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you seen this yet?
I have.
Did you buy it yet?
I purposefully did not.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Oh, right. Audio listeners, Cole held up a Traveler whiskey.
Traveler from whiskey. Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
Purposefully did not.
I'm trying to be better about purchasing, and that's why. If it had dropped last year, I absolutely would have bought it because it's only like $40, or I think in Phoenix it's
stinking bucks, $39.99 in Virginia.
The extra Phoenix tax gets it to $45 over here, but anyway, It is blended. It's technically from Buffalo Trace.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I just the description of it did not sound interesting enough to me to fall into the buy category. So
let me ask you this: when's the last time you had a Buffalo Trace product you didn't like?
That's a great question, and the answer is never. Actually, yeah. I mean,
so I'll send you some of this for sure.
Would love to. Yeah.
Yes, it is a blended whiskey, but Harlan Wheatley don't go wrong. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's there has been a lot of hubbub about it, and it's very polarizing too. I've seen.
Oh, really? I haven't seen any of the reviews on it yet.
There are haters out there who are like, purist people who are like, what even is this? And then there's people who are just genuinely curious that are all excited, like, oh look, I just found the Traveler. Yeah, I'm all excited about it. And then they just come and get shit on by the purists.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, by the purists. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So no, I'd love to try. I'm absolutely down. Yeah.
Maybe in the next few weeks we could pull it off.
Nice. I always come too. So
retail. I walked in today, like right before recording today, and I was like, they were like, "Do you want the Travelers?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll try it." So
nice, perfect.
Yeah. All right, I like that. A good thing to look forward to. If I can find a Jack 10 or 12, buying it like that.
Yep.
So I hope our listeners can too. Let's talk about last week's results from Whiskey World. Or I'm sorry, what whiskey would you choose?
Yeah.
So last week we had the question. What did we have the question?
It wasn't pizza.
Yeah, it wasn't pizza. Oh, it was
Wait, I have a more important question. Did you get Pizza Hut? Did you buy Pizza Hut?
So the funny thing is today I got Marco's because I only had so much time to pick it up. So next week I'll get Pizza Hut.
Oh yeah, that's right. You said Marco's
and
was
Marco's
right down
is
the
closer
street, right?
to my home. So
that's right. Okay. All right. You got to do it.
But I will get Pizza Hut for the wife.
Gotta do it.
She
gotta
loves good pizza. And so does my daughter.
Oh,
My daughter likes to pizza all the time. Pizza all the time. Pizza all the time.
Is that a Bagel Bites reference?
No, that's actually a Eddie Murphy reference.
Oh. Didn't know.
So he sings a song. His only big hit was Party All the Time. And that is a Party All the Time reference from Eddie Murphy.
Okay, I got you. All right, last week we asked you guys if you see Old Forester 1915 on the shelf for 1924. 1924 on the shelf for $115, are you going to buy it? And it was reasonably split. So 40% said yep. And 60% said nope.
What did you say last week?
So I said yeah.
Okay.
I said yeah, but I was well aware of the idea that I might be disappointed and blah blah blah. But I love Old Forester and whatever, and
a new bash bill. Yeah.
It was interesting enough to fall into the yes category. But anyway, the yes category was the slight minority here, and we asked you why. Why are you buying it?
We got some good answers.
Yeah. And so low class, high proof normally sends in the pictures, but today actually sent in the rare text here.
I appreciate that low class, high proof.
Says, why buy one Old Forester 1924?
He's got a point.
Buy 2 Russell single barrels or PC 10 bottles.
I imagine he's talking about Port Charlotte 10.
Yeah. Oh, he did send in Port Charlotte.
About $60. Yeah.
Nice. Perfect. Yeah.
So
Marco and AZ, good old Marco here.
Ayo.
Says equivalent age statements for less or higher age statements for equal price. So he's taking the value stance here.
Yeah,
he can get more for his money or better for the same.
Yeah. So
Bro Askatestuasa says, I
love that guy.
Love Old Forester, but that's a rare bottle territory in terms of cost. So
totally.
If it's 115, it better be a rare, more special offering than something at what was it? 100 proof for the Old Forester 1924?
Only 100 proof. Yep.
Yeah. Paul Clarkson chimed in. He said, "I like Old Forester, but I've not liked their products enough to pay that price tag without trying
Seriously,
first.
especially without
So
trying it. Yep.
try before you buy."
Yep.
Whiskey drinking panda. So apparently pandas,
Joey T.
Pandas prefer 10-year-old early time bottled and bond.
Hey,
Heck
we
yeah.
got a lot of definitive answers here.
Yeah, I know, right? I love like all these write-ins are the negative ones. The positive people like don't have write-ins because they're just like,
I'll just buy it.
Yeah. Embellish Potty chimed in. John Hughes, he said,
John Hughes.
Man, this is just adult Pokemon. Collect them all.
You might as well. So that's a yes, I guess, from John Hughes. You might as well catch them all.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's upset that they're just coming out with a new Pokemon card or if he's like, all right, I got to get the new.
What did he vote? Are you able to check?
Oh, yeah. Let me tab back over real quick. He voted yep. So
okay, so
right.
yes, it's a yes from John Hughes.
So he's collecting all the Pokemon and Madtown marketer here.
Heyo, Ben Klepsig.
So Ben chimed in and said, "Age statement, Old Forester, baby." So Ben also voted yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Love Ben. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, this week was that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, this week we got a good question for you. I don't think we've done this before. But we've probably done something somewhat similar. Okay, so here's the situation. Your wife or your significant other, for those female listeners out there, did they like whiskey? If so, what's their favorite? If not, what do you think could convince them? Does that make sense, everyone? I have an answer for this right off the bat. My wife is not super into whiskey, but she has liked a few whiskeys in the past, and the number one whiskey she has liked was Pappy Van Winkle 15 year. Why not?
Of course.
You gotta like it. Yeah. That's like,
that's
who
great.
wouldn't like it?
Oh man, that's so funny.
Yeah. So what about you?
Awesome.
Does Sam like whiskey?
So she does.
Okay.
But so okay. She does. And she will, like, if I'm she did when she wasn't pregnant.
Until
obviously.
The accident. Yeah. We won't call Chickpea that though.
Yeah, right. Chickpea was definitely not an accident, for the record. If you're listening to this in the future.
She totally is too. And she's a girl, for the record.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Anyway, so back in the day, before she was pregnant, Sam does love whiskey, and she primarily likes Scotch.
Okay.
So, and I have tried and tried and tried.
Right.
Give
she's
her two things. Yeah, you remember.
Yeah.
Give her two things. She doesn't know what it is. One Scotch, one is bourbon. She always picks a Scotch. She is literally, I've never even been able to trick her into liking an American whiskey more than Scotch. So she's 100% Scotch. And
Scotchy girl. Well, she's got the red hair, so might as well
right,
be
I know,
Scottish.
Yeah. And so she has it narrowed down even too, because I'll give her Scotch blinds. I would give her Scotch blinds, and I'll give her
accident.
I'll give her Dalmore against something else, and she'll always pick Dalmore.
Wow, she's a regular Richard Patterson.
I know. Yeah, she loves the nose.
I love that.
So anyway, she's Dalmore all the way, and she's even specifically narrowed down into Dalmore 12.
Okay. And have you tried the 18? She tried the 18.
I'll pause you right there.
Okay, go on.
Because I've given her Dalmore 12 against a Dalmore 12 Select, which is like, a little higher ABV, and in my opinion, a little more flavorful, a little more peppery, a little more heat. And she still prefers the nice, even, mellow 12.
Good on you, Richard Patterson.
And she's needed to try the 18 for a long time, but the time came and went now for her to be able to try that until later. So look at this. Look what I've got right here in the label that YouTube listeners can barely read.
Dalmore 18. Is that signed by Ben Klepsig or potentially Sean Ciaro himself?
Good old Ben Klepsig right here. You too drank Dalmore 18 on Ben Klepsig's episode that he did not too long ago, 3-4 months ago. And so because you had the sample and because Ben Klepsig drank out of his bottle, I got this extra one that was donated to the podcast. So thanks to Ben Klepsig, I'm
What
holding on to this bottle.
Friggin' baller.
Yep. So this will be Sam's first scotch after she can drink again.
Well, are you gonna blind it?
I'll do half and half.
Okay,
I'll blind it against the 12, and then I'll save the other half for her to just drink whenever she wants.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you'll know definitively.
I will say I've always been super intrigued on the idea of the Dalmore cigar blend. Have you ever tried that?
Not yet.
So yeah, I really want to try that. That's like super high on my radar, but I haven't seen it at a bar yet. And it's, try before buy. It's like $180 here in Phoenix. So
actually, I wouldn't be surprised if it's fantastic. Knowing Dalmore, they just kill it.
I'm just curious how it's different from the 12. I mean, cigar blend, I expect it to be flavorful.
Yeah, so for sure.
We'll see.
You got to have flavor in a cigar blend. Yeah. That's that, Brian. All right. Next week, what are we drinking?
No idea. Didn't even think about it.
We didn't even talk about it.
Didn't even talk about it.
All right. What do we got? I'm seeing an Elmer T. Lee, and it's catching my eye, but I want to compare it against a rye. Like some fancy rye. So
I recently poured the last of my Elmer T. Lee in a sample bottle. And it was just enough to fit in a sample bottle. And then now that bottle of Elmer T. Lee is in its final resting place, in the place it deserves to be in the garbage.
So take it out of the list because you don't have it.
I have a sample bottle poured.
Oh, gotcha.
Like I had this much left in the bottle for forever.
Oh, I got you.
So I put it in a sample so that, in our little blind thing, in our YouTube blinds we've been doing lately, so that it could be in the mix and it's got a nice little number on top for us to be able to pull. But
okay, what if we put Elmer T. Lee against Red Spot 15?
I like that.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like they're even, like around the same spot. So we'll do that. Keep an eye out for Two Pick Tuesday this week.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we'll drink them on the reentry buzz. Who knows?
I have a strong guess as to which one's going to win, but I won't say anything.
Me too, but I won't say anything. Vote with your heart. Vote with your heart, listeners. Anything else to say, Brian, before we close out this episode?
No, I'm just hoping next episode I leave you enough time to actually talk about what you've been up to in the last week.
No, I didn't even think of that, but it's not a big deal. I hope our listeners enjoyed the drink along yesterday.
And I hope that I enjoy using my espresso machine tomorrow for the first time in forever.
Ooh. And I hope that our listeners can listen to The First Time in Forever by Kristen Bell and Idina Menzel, because I've been listening to that a lot lately because my daughter's obsessed with it. Yeah, 100%. Don't know if I'm elated or gassy, but I'm somewhere in that zone.
Why have a ballroom with no balls?
Yeah. Wow. You are meant to be a girl dad already.
I know,
man, I'm so proud of you. And I hope our listeners are proud of you. But most of all, listeners, I hope that our love of whiskey lifted your spirits. Man, I've had like 6 handies probably.
Please,
but that's mostly because I worked at a bar and stuff like that.
But, yeah. Wow, you got a lot of handies at the bar.